Crypto is incredibly stressful. When I talk with students for my program, on a day-to-day basis, the number one issue is that you're overwhelmed and can't believe how much information there is and how you have to keep on top of it. You're on your phone as you commute to work, or you're constantly on your phone in bed and you're just researching crypto, and you feel like you have this need, this like I have to, this compulsion to stay on top of things. And I'm here to say that that's just not the case. So my name is Lewis Jackson, and I'm on a mission to make crypto incredibly easy to understand for every single person. And I believe this video, if you can pay attention to the entire thing and follow it in a linear fashion, you'll get everything you want out of this. And I think you'll actually start to notice that your investing in general will actually change as a result of this video. Once you overcome this problem, crypto becomes easy. So I think first what we need to get into is where the origin of this stress and this overwhelm is. Because on the surface level, when you look at it, it's just, oh, I feel like there's so much to learn, there's so much to do, and it's really difficult, and I'm new to this crypto thing, and it's just so much information, but I see where it's going. Like, I know where it's going, and I know I need to be involved. It's just all a bit too much. And I've just come to discover that that is not the source problem. That's not the problem at the root of things. It's actually the manifestation, the result of something happening deeper, that people, as soon as you unlock it, the whole thing just becomes super easy. So I want you to imagine a world where you don't stress about crypto, you're not overwhelmed, you're not having to pay attention to the news all the time, the short-term moves in the market don't even bother you anymore. You've effectively removed emotion. I want to save that word, emotion, because emotion, you would think, is the root cause of overwhelm. You know, you naturally follow that chain of thought. You think, okay, I'm overwhelmed. That's probably an emotional feeling that I'm having. I need to remove emotion. Well, you can't remove emotion until you understand emotion on even a biochemical level. Now, you didn't expect to get there on this video, did you? But it's true. Emotions come into play when we have uncertainty about the future. Uncertainty is something that humans hate. It's the lack of control. And so as soon as we have control, we all of a sudden feel safe because we can control the things in our environment and we can make sure that we go on the appropriate path. As soon as we lose that control, everything goes into chaos. This is actually something called pain avoidance. The reason we don't like losing control in crypto is because we want to avoid pain. Loss of control means that we actually have this lack of ability to predict the future. An unknown, an uncertainty, that is creating doubt, and doubt in our bodies manifests into emotion, and therefore that emotion creates terrible habits in crypto. It means even if you're listening to a YouTube channel and there's loads of terminology, it means you can't handle that terminology anymore. Like, your brain doesn't have the bandwidth to handle it. Because the previous night you were scrolling through social media, and the previous day before that you were watching all the crypto influencers and getting all this news kind of bombarding in from every single angle. It's just not useful. And so in order to free up this overwhelm, this cloudiness that everyone's feeling, the uncertainty, the lack of ability to project what's going to happen in the future, we need to start doing things that create more bandwidth. We need to open our minds up. So we need to actually allow space for us to open our minds up. If we're constantly on YouTube getting all these massive price predictions and all these different news articles all the time, it clouds our mind and we can't really do anything about it. We end up being paralyzed by the overwhelm. And so if we can create actions in our lives that put us in the right direction to free up that bandwidth so that we can have not only we can action on things a bit easier, but we can also have the confidence underneath to action a plan and be secure in that plan. And so there's a variety of things you can do that can reduce this overwhelm that I really advise that you start looking into. One of those things is creating a journal that you actually just note down and actually make yourself aware on a day-to-day basis of the emotions that you feel after certain pieces of news. Or let's say you make a purchase and you thought that it was a bit of an odd purchase, it was a bit impulsive. What were the events that led up to that decision that made me do that? Because afterwards I thought, why did I do that? If you make yourself more aware of these situations, you actually end up tackling things way better. Let me give you an example. If you want to try to lucid dreaming is essentially being able to control your dreams while you're asleep. A fascinating ability, and I've trained to do it, and I've on a few rare occasions I've been able to do it with a lot of success. But in the training to be able to lucid dream, you need to make sure, you have to be disciplined, that every time you wake up, you write down on a notepad that's next to your bed. You make sure you stay awake, write it on the notepad what you've just dreamt, and then think about what you've just dreamt, and you will return back into that dream, right? And so it's the action of taking these notes and becoming aware of your dream state and the frequency of your dreams and the details of your dreams that allow you to move to the next level. And it's the same in crypto. If you become aware of your emotions, you can move yourself to the next level, because you can just understand the difference between the normal stimuli and reaction, stimuli being the thing that makes you react in the way that you do, and turning that into a different reaction, which is more positive in nature and becomes a habit in a positive way as well, if you do it over a long enough time period. So another thing we do that builds up this overwhelm in us is the desperation for optimal security. We all worry about security a lot, whether that's, the locks on our doors in our house, or it's the cold storage wallet that you've bought to protect your assets, and the scams from every single angle. And so this fear of security is another thing that's building up in your mind. So, and add into all of that the idea that lots of different people are talking about different assets, and they're all talking about it in a kind of an echo chamber that makes you kind of lose a basis on reality, and you only see what you're being told. And that's obviously not the best way to go, and it creates this overwhelm. All of these factors, think about it, everything we've talked about so far, you might be a bit overwhelmed about me talking about all of this. Imagine how it feels for you on a day-to-day basis. Like, this. This is every day, there's new tokens, there's new cryptos, there's new news. Like, what if there was such a way where we could just put some actions in place to remove all of that and allow us to move forward with confidence? And ultimately, with that confidence, having a good direction that we're traveling in, ultimately lead us to be in the best position to actually make some money in the bull run. It's fascinating. So let's get into some of the more actionable things you can be doing. This is really targeted at people who have this observant trait. You're someone who can observe the market. You observe people really well, but for some reason, crypto, you're not observing yourself. And so if you are that type of person, I really advise you have some sort of journal that you can go through to note down, just like the lucid dreaming example. Note down the actions that have led up to certain events happening and the emotions that you are feeling at certain times. But it's only the analytical types among you, the observant and analytical types, that will actually go back through that journal to retrospectively analyze your actions. And only then can you make the changes in your portfolio. Now, also, if you're someone who can be depended on, you're someone who will take action when you're instructed, and you'll do it in such a reliable way, there's other things you can be doing as well. And if you're someone with this reliable trait, the prospect of integrating something into your day-to-day life, such as like a meditation routine or some sort of breathing routine throughout the day, you're probably just going to do that. And you're going to do it reliably over a long period of time. And what's great about doing positive action over a long period of time is that it becomes a habit, which means the effort required to do the thing is drastically reduced. And if you can drastically reduce the effort and energy that's gone into something, you're removing overwhelm from your mind, increasing the bandwidth and increasing your success in crypto. And for those who are really kind of innovative in nature and you're really riding this wave, perhaps you're a little bit older than what you think most people are in crypto, but you're switched on. You've got this understanding of technology. You understand blockchain, for goodness sake. Like, you're really advanced in this. So some things you can do in the technology standpoint with your ability with computers and tech is you can actually set up alerts, for example, when certain things happen. So a certain price is hit on a cryptocurrency, you can set that alert and you can just leave it be. So the day-to-day movements of the crypto market don't matter to you unless you get the alert. But in the meantime, your bandwidth has been freed up for you to do more effective things with your day. You're not getting that overwhelm because you've already got the trigger moments set and in place, and they're not taking up 24/7 of your life. Now, I know that every single person who's still watching this video at this moment is also the type of person to get what they want. You're not a person who kind of sits back and lets everyone run all over them. And you also won't let your overwhelm and lack of ability to have direction and indecision overwhelm you as well. You will not let that happen. You are the type of person to handle this. And so some of the steps that I've put in here will certainly help you along the way in removing that overwhelm, which in my opinion, just looking at my notes here, in my opinion, if you can crack overwhelm and you can increase bandwidth in your mind, crypto becomes easy once you overcome that. So really start being introspective and understanding yourself, the emotional behavior, the patterns that you're exhibiting, and make a change.